charge that much.
Pretty good too, I hear.
None of you ever heard. You got any opinion, right? I wish it was for 2 days. I think it was that long. Did we ever figure, was it just that building? The whole side of that tower. Make $1 million. You didn't go to that.
Tower? Oh,
It is 7 p.m. and at this time, we're going to open the regularly scheduled meeting for this time and this date of the Orion Township Zoning Board of Appeals. Please call the roll.
Ann Durham.
Here.
Don Walker.
Here.
Mike Flood.
Here.
Tony Cook.
Here.
Diane Danaskas. Here. A quorum is present.
Thank you. Next, our approval or not of our minutes of the 27th of October.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes of 10/27/25 as submitted.
I'll support. We have a motion on the floor with support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, they are into the record. We have, next up is agenda review and approval. We have 2 cases tonight. Before we open up and get started, do the board members have any concerns or discussion points? Mr. Flood.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Support.
Motion, support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're off to the races. We don't have too many people coming in yet, but in case we do, public comment will be allowed for this like it is allowed for everything. It is 3 minutes once, and that does not count applicants because we ask applicants lots of questions and it takes whatever time it takes. But you get 3 minutes, 1 bite, so make up your mind what you want to say before you come up. And if our crowd stays small like this, we can maybe massage that a little bit, but that's,
Extra 15 seconds or so.
yeah, do it that way. But that's generally how we try to get it going. First case, AB 2025-34, Shannon M. Faris at 806 South Long Lake Boulevard, Sidwell 09-01-332-033. Petitioner is seeking 1 variance from zoning ordinance 78, zoned R3, section 6, section 6.04. A 22-foot front yard setback variance from the required 30 feet for a deck that is due to be detached to be 8 feet from the front property line. Do we have a petitioner? Come on up introduce yourself and,
Shannon Ferris.
okay? So you want to build a deck?
That is correct. I want to get rid of the existing porch, which is not in compliance. The top step is 10 inches, and I continue to fall on it.
How long have you lived there?
4.5 years.
Okay. I mean, the idea of it seems pretty straightforward to me. Board members?
It's definitely, I saw the condition of it, and, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, steep and narrow and deteriorating.
Mr. Chairman,
But
yeah, I consider that to be a safety hazard, and it's a freestanding also, according to our documents here from our planning and zoning specialist, Lynn. And by being freestanding, it doesn't increase the nonconformity, because the house doesn't meet today's standards for that. I look at that as part of the practical difficulty.
you know, if you have an entryway that is shaky, somebody will fall on it.
It's going to happen. I have several times already, just not down it, only up it,
Well, you got to go, that's a good way to do it.
right?
And
I had a question. Your fence line is not your property line, is that correct? Is your fence line your property line?
That I do not know.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Flood,
also in our packet, the fire marshal has no concern with this.
thank you. Part of the practical difficulty standard is that this not be self-created. It's only, in the strictest sense, self-created because you want to fix a hazard,
Correct,
okay? So that really wouldn't apply.
correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
That's good.
yeah, I just wanted to thank you for outlining where it would be. That's really
That was nice,
to
yes.
see.
Yeah, we appreciate that when they have the stakes and or ribbons or anything they put out there.
Yes, he came by the other day and was, yes.
I snuck in.
Anybody in the audience come to speak to this? Seeing none. These motion forms are really detailed, so when it looks like we're just sitting up here, we got people working right now trying to get you lined up.
I'm ready to make the motions.
Mrs. Damascus.
Thank you. In the matter of ZBA case AB 2025-34, Shannon M. Ferris, is that correct?
Yes.
806 South Long Lake Boulevard, Sidwell 09-01-332-033. I move that the petitioner's request for one variance from zoning ordinance number 78, zoned R3, Article 6, Section 6.04, 1, a 22-foot front yard setback variance from the required 30 feet for a deck that is detached to be 8 feet from the front property line, be granted for an application date stamped and received October 7th, 2025, because the petitioner did demonstrate that the following standards for variances have been met in this case, and that they set forth facts which show that in this case, petitioner does show a practical difficulty. This is a non-conforming, freestanding structure that has deteriorated over the years to the point where it is now unsafe and is a hazard. This was structure was already in existence when the current owners purchased the property. The following are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applicable to the property that do not generally apply to the other properties in the same district or zone. The current structure is non-conforming, was non-conforming when it was installed. It would have been, and it is currently just deteriorated to the point where it is not safe, and it would not be reasonable to construct the same type of structure. Variance or variances are necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of substantial property rights possessed by other properties in the same vicinity. Having a safe entry is necessary for any home, and by removing this hazard and replacing it with a structurally sound and safe entry deck is totally appropriate and necessary. Granted, the variance or modifications will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or materially injurious to the property or to improvements in such zone or district in which the property is located. This does not increase the nonconformity, and indeed, instead of making this detrimental, this only enhances this property and the neighborhood. The variance was not self-created. This structure was pre-existing when purchased by the current owners.
I would second the motion that the motion maker would consider that it is the house that is non-conforming, not the freestanding deck.
Yes, thank you.
Clarification on that. And also that requested to be from the front property line. According to our documents from our planning and zoning specialist, it will still be almost 25 feet from the road. I'll second the
Correct.
motion.
That is correct.
I accept those amendments. Thank you.
We have a motion by Mrs. Danaskis with support, with amendments by Mr. Flood. Do we have anything additional by the other board members? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Diane Danaskis, yes. Tony Cook.
Yes.
Don Walker.
Yes.
Mike Flood.
Yes.
Dan Durham.
Yes, motion passes. You're all set.
Thank you so much.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Opinion from the board before we go to the next one. The information lists 10 variances. We know it's down to 8. Should I still read all 10 in at the beginning?
Another point, yes, and as soon as you get done with that, there's a letter from Lynn that if we don't approve variance number 1, there's no use even discussing the further variances
That's true.
without granting the variance on the lot nonconformity.
Should we make the first one a separate, well, it
I
can't make-
talked to Lynn about that, and she'd like to have that as a separate motion, and we can proceed with the rest.
I'm going to read all these in. We know that some of them are going to be going, but you folks can help us strike them out.
Yep.
Okay, next case is AB 2025-35, Carrie Schneider at 296 Shady Oaks, Sidwell 09-10-209-009. Petitioner is seeking 10 variances from zoning ordinance 78, zoned R3, Article 27, Section 27.01, C1A. Number 1 is a 5-foot lot width variance from the required 50 feet lot width because her lot is below that right now. Next would be an 11.5-foot front yard setback variance from the required 30 feet for a house with a covered deck to be 18.5 feet from the front property line on the water side. Number 3 is a 0.5-foot rear yard setback variance from the required 35 feet for a house to be 34.5 feet from the rear property line on the roadside. Number 4 is a 6.08-foot side yard setback variance from the required 10 feet for a house with a covered deck to be 3.92 feet from the side property line southwest. Number 5 is an 8.83-foot side yard setback variance from the required 10 feet for a house with a covered deck to be 1.17 foot from the side property line northeast. Number 6 is a 10-foot side yard setback variance from the required 10 feet for a detached garage to be 0 feet from the side property line southwest. Number 7 is a 6.6-foot rear yard setback variance from the required 10-foot for a detached garage to be 3.4 feet from the rear property line on the roadside. Number 8 is a 17.6% lot coverage variance from the allowed 25% for a lot coverage of 42.6%. Article 27, Section 27.03G. Number 9 is a 10-foot variance from the 10-foot corner clearance requirement for a detached garage to be within the corner clearance triangle area of the property on the southwest corner. Number 10, under Section 27, under Article 27, Section 27.17B is in Baker, a 6.5-foot wetland on the shoreline setback variance from the required 25 feet for a house with a covered deck, to be 18.5 feet from a wetland shoreline. The applicant, come on up. You're gonna need to speak up and introduce yourself, please.
Sure. I'm Carrie Schneider. I'm attempting to improve the property at 296 Shady Oaks. And you had referenced that I had the 10 variance requests, and bringing it down to 8 is correct. If I may speak in front of the board? Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to present my request. My goal is to outline the unique hardships associated with 296 Shady Oaks and demonstrate that the variances I am requesting are both reasonable and necessary for constructing a safe and functional primary residence. I am committed to improving this parcel in a way that benefits both the neighborhood and the township. I would also like to share an important update. During further research and review, a previously overlooked but legally recorded warranty deed was discovered, located at Liber 39704, page 697. This deed, also verified by the professional property survey completed by Houston Kennedy Surveyors in Oxford, adds 30 additional feet to the waterside property line. Because of this discovery, the total number of variance requests are being reduced from 10 down to 8, and removing these requests also removes any ambiguity revolving around the water side, which is deemed the front property, and setback variance requests.
Let me interrupt you one moment.
Sure.
What you just have told us has also been verified by the people in our office. So what you're saying is new information, and that is what is being applied.
Correct.
So everybody has got the same information.
Correct.
Sorry for the intrusion.
That's okay.
Continue.
That's okay. So the variance requests that are being removed from the agenda are variance request number 2 and variance request number 10, both of which were significant concerns verbalized to me from both lakeside neighbors, as they feared that where the house was going to be placed would be obstructing views. They are no longer necessary and have been removed. The proposed covered deck, which is part of the home rather than a separate structure, has now been confirmed to sit 30 feet from the legally defined waterside front yard line and 36 feet from the wetlands and the water's edge, which both fully satisfied those particular front setback requirements. I do, however, need clarification from the board in regards to one other of my variance requests, which is labeled request number 9. It's pertaining to the corner clearance for the garage. And the confusion that I do have it in the language and in the request. I'm not certain that I need that request either. But the confusion on the corner clearance comes from from the corner clearance G, which in the main paragraph cites, quote, on any corner lot in the body of that paragraph. So my interpretation is that you have to have a corner lot for this to apply, and there was some confusion around that. Can I gain clarification on that?
Mr. Goodlow, are you familiar with what she's speaking of?
I am, and I'm gonna pull up the section for you so you can see it. I do believe, so it says right here, corner clearance, this is the section that we're referring to. Any corner lot on which obstruct, so I don't really consider this a corner lot. It's up to you as the board, you're the interpreting body of the zoning ordinance, so that would be a decision that you guys would have to make. But it's not a corner lot, and 1 and 2, if we do deem that it does specifically speak to corner lots above, 1 and 2 would only be relevant to that section. So I leave it up to the board on that.
Thank you. Board members, what's your feeling? Mr. Flood?
When I was out there and looking at it, I bet that garage has been there 50, 60 years at least. And what the line of sight is for this individual to get out of their driveway on that narrow road right there. It doesn't impede anyone driving down the road to see, like the triangle, like you do a corner lot. One thing too you notice, these lake lots down there are tight. We've had numerous homes variances in there, as you can tell by looking at the new structures. That road dead ends into the lake. Did you see that down there? Drive the way down. There's no barrier or nothing. You drive right in the lake. It's great for the fire truck if they want to giraffe water, but they'll have to back the fire truck down that road. They can't turn it around. But, yeah, I don't see any per the ordinance being a corner lot. It's not a corner lot. It's landlocked on all sides.
Mr. Naskis, do you have an opinion?
No, I would agree that it doesn't really obstruct anyone's line of sight other than the owner's line of sight. And it is it's a straightaway fairly, I mean, it's not really curved or.
Look, is that a corner lot?
No, sir, it's not. I would agree with both their assessments.
Walker?
Yep.
Since the ordinance speaks to corner lots and the board has decided amongst ourselves on the record that it is not one, we should be able to safely remove that request, number 9?
Yes.
Do we need a motion to pull it?
That's a good
No,
question.
I don't think you do. Go ahead, Tony, I'm sorry.
Petitioner can request and we can.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Good thinking.
What's your
Yes.
request?
So I'm requesting that we pull variance request number 2, number 9, as well as number 10, as they no longer apply to the original variance request.
Looking for the language, she's made the request, we've already determined in our opinion, it does not fall under the ordinance that they quote. So are we good to move forward without any further documentation?
I had a talk with our specialist today on that, and she said it would be up to us to make that determination on the language of the variant, of the ordinance. And that's what we just did. We did an interpretation, and that's what we did.
So we would not, and I am,
I think in the motion, when we do a motion, how this ever goes, that the motion should clarify all these being removed, because the ordinance is satisfied.
excellent point, and that will also get this onto the record in some fashion.
Exactly. I think you tie that all in, if the motion comes to that.
Board members, at what point do we discuss the first variance request?
I think, can I read in the record of Lynn's
Please.
verbatim, so that way we can understand all this?
Okay.
This is from our, Lynn Harrison, our planning and zoning specialist. It's dated October 13, 2025, concerning this case. The petitioner is seeking to remove the existing structures on the property and build a new home with a covered deck and a detached garage. As the property is less than 50 feet wide, a variance for the use of non-conforming lot has to be approved first. If this is not approved, the other variances cannot be acted on. As you can see, the petitioner needs several variances to build a new house and new garage. The variances were based on the numbers provided by the survey date stamp received 10/13/2025. There was conversation with the petitioner regarding the length of the property, and information has been obtained that the road commission acquired 10 feet of the subject property along the roadside. And that is also stated in their deed. You'll see where the road commission took the 10 feet off in this case, it's a backyard, because the front yard's the lakeside. The petitioner noted that there will be, there's a well on the property along with the topographical location of the house, and there is a well right in, as soon as you walk in their gate, there's a little 2-inch well right there. May I read the next one in the record?
Please.
Also from Lynn Harrison, dated November 7th. As referenced in the earlier email from me today, I have received new plans from the petitioner showing additional accredited land to her property, an additional 30-plus feet. This additional accreditation land is referenced in a warranty deed from 2007 filed with Oakland County Clerk. I do not have this information when the variance language was created. That being said, the attached survey for the property residence with the covered deck over patio shows that the setbacks for the front yard line, water side, and the wetland setback will both be met. Variance 2 and 10 will not be required. Attaches a PDF of a survey showing the existing structures and one showing the proposed house with a covered deck and a copy of the above-mentioned warranty deed. The variance for lot coverage remains the same as our records show. The parcel is slightly larger than the survey indicated. If there is a motion to approve, please reference the plan's date stamp November 7th, 2025. That's the record there.
Now, is it proper or necessary to call the case number and only vote on the first one? Get that one tucked away, because as you said yourself, if that one doesn't go, none of the rest of them matter.
I'm prepared to make that motion, and we'll see how the vote goes.
Okay?
All right. In the matter of ZBA case AB 2025-35, Carrie Schneider, 296 Shady Oaks, Sidwell 0910-209-009. I move that the petition request for one variance, Article 27, Section 27.01, C1A, a 5-foot lot width variance from the required minimum 50-foot lot width. Be granted or plans date stamp received November 7, 2025, because the petitioner did demonstrate that the following standards for variance have been met in this case, and they set forth facts which show that in this case, they show the practical difficulty due to the unique characteristics of the property, due to this being the lake lot on Shady Oaks, and all these lots are, majority of them are non-conforming in that area, because these lots were plotted back, could be early, before the 1900s. When they were, when this was a vacation land. Mm-hmm. Today's standards, it doesn't meet today's ordinances. At the time, they did meet the quality. We're only talking 5 feet. It's a 45-foot wide lot.
We've had several of those over the years, basically in that same area.
Numerous, all around the lake, all around this lake. And it's,
So it really shouldn't fall to the owner to try to stretch the lot to make it as big as it needs to be today. You can't move the lot.
it's the width of the lot.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And majority of these lake lots were plotted. In the register, I'm going to read this in the record. The following are exceptional or extraordinary circumstantial conditions applicable to the property involved that do not generally apply to other properties in the same district or zone. It is an exceptional or extraordinary circumstances to all these lake lots in that area that were plotted back in who knows when, late 1800s, early 1900s. And they have a deed here that was registered with the Oakland County Clerk back on October 29, 2007. And it's a land contract that was fulfilled on August 6, 1962. I'll put the dollar amount in here too, $9,950. I'll buy that lot from you today for that if you'd like to break even. That's off the record, don't put that in there. But if you notice, the gentleman, that's when this was paid off. The gentleman who signed this, Notary Public, his date stamp expired June 27th, 1933. It's a legal document. So that lot was, when the other people purchased it, it was back in the 1930s. The variance or variances are necessary for preservation, enjoyment of the substantial property rights possessed by other property in the same zone of vicinity based on the similar variances. With smaller variance will be sufficient. The request is for 5 feet to bring it within today's standards of a 50-foot wide conforming lot. The granting of the variances and modifications will not materially detrimental to the public welfare, materially injurious to the property, or to improve the such zone or district in which the property is located based on the following findings. It will be, improve the property values over there, replacing a home that's probably nearly 100 years old. And the variance is not self-created due to the fact that this was all plotted well before this young lady was ever born. That's my motion.
And I will support. Motion by Mr. Flood, supported by myself. Anything additional by the board? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Don Walker.
Yes.
Mike Flood.
Yes.
Tony Cook.
No.
Diane Danaskus, yes. Dan Durham.
Yes. Number 1 passes, so now the housekeeping is out of the way. We can get down to the rest of the stuff. Board members, anything? Because I got some paperwork here that needs to go into the record. Now, I'll start the first one. Got paperwork from a Craig Schneider at, well, he didn't tell us where, at least not up there. Craig Schneider, we got it on the 5th of November regarding this case. I would like to submit some questions for the ZBA to consider and obtain clarity on regarding site plan and requested variances for the notice. Craig Schneider, 296 Shady Oaks, 0910-209-099. Please forward to the members of the ZBA. I will not be able to attend in the meeting in person. As of 3:30, there have been no stakes placed on the property to identify the variances. As indicated in the petition plan, some question would be answered if the stakes had been placed. Well, apparently when he was there, they weren't, so he still has questions. Number 1 question to be considered by the board, item 2 and 10, which we've knocked both of those off, 2 points on the actual survey. Item 2 uses a variance request based on actual property line that is 109 foot from the road, and item 10 is using a measurement from the shoreline, which is beyond the 109-foot property line and includes created land. The question becomes, which variance is the applicant asking for? If variance 2 is provided, it matches the 109 feet, as indicated on the site plan that was submitted, but item 10, it does not match the site plan provided. If number 10, it would result in the entire site plan being invalid, as variances requested in 3, 4, and 5 being incorrect, as the project would be moved beyond the 109-foot mark indicated by an additional 20 feet closer to the shoreline. What are the actual variances being considered, and are they accurate to the survey as the site plan? To briefly answer, we've discussed all these things, and she's picked up 30 feet of land that isn't spoken to in this, so I think we're fine to continue. Number 2, and item 8 is asking for a 42.6% lot coverage. Appears to be excessive and creates an additional issues with current allowed setbacks. How will grading and roof water and snow melt and runoff be dealt with to ensure existing properties are not negatively impacted? At 1.7 feet and 3.4 inches from the property line, will roof runoff flow onto neighboring property? Question 3 to be considered, side yard setback items in 4 and 5 are essentially creating a zero lot line structure. How would one access the front water side for final grading without having to go through a neighboring property? Having dealt with a house fire recently, I would also imagine the fire marshal having issue with close proximity to other structures, along with how to access the structure in case of a fire or other emergency. Items 6, 7, and 9 should be approved to allow for adequate parking and to allow for the existing structure to be renovated. Would it make more sense to allow for a larger rear yard roadside setback to bring the project away from the side property lines and reduce the amount of variance requested? As far as the fire marshal's part, Mr. Flood will back this up. He always reads them. He's on board. He said he has no issues with this
That
project.
is correct. It's in the documents. The fire marshal has no concern with this.
Thank you. That's one down, that's the only one. And I'll get the other one out of the way, and we'll be able to go this one shorter. It is from D. Bischoff, at apparently 296 Shady Oaks.
Nope, that's my address. She's at 320.
320, okay, sorry. Linda Bischoff, 320 Shady Oaks, emailing with concerns about 10 variances from zoning ordinance 78. We know it's not 10 any longer. I do not want any issues with neighbors or new neighbors. I'm sure Carrie will improve the property beautifully. My concern is building on the property line. It is already a fire hazard, and the peninsula is very crowded. There isn't room for emergency vehicles. We have a lot of traffic and people parking that we can't always get into our driveway. My other concern is the added load to the sewer lines. I have already experienced 2 sewer backups into the house because of pump failure and being lowest in the line. Please carefully take all concerns seriously to come to a reasonable decision. Thank you and have a great day. Again, she mentions fire hazards and fire suppression. The fire marshal, again, as stated, is on board with what's happening so far. And that's stuff I've got.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Flood.
for transparency, when I was out there today, her neighbor, Lawrence McCaskin, 308 Shady Oaks, he lives right immediately. There he is, the gentleman's right there. I didn't see him sitting back there. Just for transparency, when he came up to my truck, I said, "Sir, I can't talk anything about this. It would violate the Open Meetings Act." He just wanted to make me aware that he had told Lynn, and it's in our documents, that his letter, he rescinded his letter.
Yes. I saw it and took it out of the pile.
So I just want to get that on the record. And then, can I address some of these, please?
Sure.
I mean,
Well, hang on just one second.
Go ahead.
Hold that thought. Mr. Goodlow.
Yes. To address some of the fire concerns, when we have a new build, we actually get to get it built to the updated, most current codes. And due to the proximity of the property line, anything within 5 feet has to have a fire-rated assembly, inside and out. So actually, it will reduce the risk of spread of fire from one unit to the other because it'll be updated to the most current code standard.
Sir, did you want to speak to this matter tonight? If you would, come on up. This young lady will give you the mic for a minute. Then we'll have what's coming from that direction and we can move forward. Introduce yourself, please.
Larry McCaskin. I live adjacent to Carrie's new home, or what's going to be her new home. I think you guys addressed it. I was just concerned about where the house is staked. That is going to be where the house is, correct? It's not going to change after you guys approve.
After we approve?
Yeah.
No, once we're approved, once we make either a success for the lady or not, it'll go where the paperwork has got it. Mr. Goodlow will be the one, the point man on this whole thing. He will make sure that it goes where it's supposed to go.
Okay. And I just want to say I have no objections. She's going to build a beautiful house. And also, I don't know if I can do a third-party thing or not, but I talked to Jerry and Darlene live on the other side.
Can you pull that up just a little bit? Microphone, yeah. There you go.
Jerry and Darlene live on the other side. They were leaving for Florida on last Saturday. And I talked to Darlene, and I said, "Are you guys good with everything?" She said, "Yeah, we didn't turn in our letter because we looked at where the house is staked." And she said, she stressed, as long as that doesn't change, we have no objections. So either house on both sides have no objections.
Very good, that's good to know. Thank you, sir. Mr. Flood.
Okay, on the first letter from Craig Schneider, well, 2 and 10 are gone. The lot coverage, I think you're requesting, what, a 17%? 6%? If you look on your documents there, our Planning and Zoning Department does a great job on calculating all those figures. It's 17% sounds like a lot, but when you look at the square footage, It's a small lot. You know, that's what kind of throws things out of kilter. And also, from viewing the stakes out there, and you're talking about putting it in the same footprint. If you look at the stakes, the property line's not changing at all. The house is exactly the same, going to be the same footprint. So there's no difference on what the existing structure is now from the side setbacks. And like I said, the well's out front, you can't, it's a little 2-inch well. Then addressing the sewer, now that really has no bearing on this body. We're not the planning commission. But to address that, is that house currently on the sewer system? Yes, they all have to be on that sewer system. That has no bearing on whether or not it's going to overflow the sewer system. Because all those houses along that road are on the sewer. So I just wanted to address those.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Chair,
Walker.
I have a question, Mr. Goodlow. The one letter writer indicated concern about water runoff. Do you have any concern?
You know, with the
Does
side,
it change anything?
typically, that's something I ask the board to maybe discuss, obviously. This pitches front to back, does it not?
Where's the lake?
So that's better, because if it was gable, then it would pitch to the side. So minimal, I'm not worried about the side, front, back. I'm always wondering if they're going to have gutter system. We always have to make them. I always ask you to make sure that you can work with us in some sort of water plan to make sure the gutters run out to appropriate condition and not onto a neighbor. So I think just talking about that in a motion potentially would help us. And I think the petitioner wouldn't have an issue just kind of sharing where they'd put their stormwater.
Thank you.
If I may add on to Mr. Goodlow, when he did the site walk, all those properties, if you get on the lakeside, the road is up here and all those properties go down to the lake.
Yeah.
So all the water flow is going towards the lake.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't spill over to the neighbors.
Yeah, and that's why I like the design of the home, because it's not side-to-side water, dumping water side-to-side, because we are in close proximity to the property line. It's front-to-back, so that makes it very easy to control that water. So the concerns for me are minimal at this one. Thank you, Don.
One thing I'd like to add to applicant, I see your picture in here of what you like to build. It's very pretty. Did you say those palm trees?
I'm going to plant those afterwards. Do I need a variance for that, too?
I said, wow, they got palm trees on Lake Orion. That's awesome.
I know, that does enhance it a little bit,
It's
doesn't
probably
it?
something you saw down in Florida or
I
something.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
I just love the kind of
Exactly. I
coastal.
thought you'd get a kick out of that.
Yeah, I actually laughed about that earlier in transparency. I was like, I wonder if the palm trees are going to be discussed. Yeah,
We do a thorough job.
I see that. Thank
One thing
you.
I had too, in Lynn's documents here, and I was looking at your, the neighbor that's gone to Florida. They have a 2-story house beside you, and this house meets the ordinance of not exceeding the 30-foot height at the pitch. It's in our documents from Lynn that meets that criteria. So,
Mr. Chair, I just have a couple of questions. Is your garage a 2-car garage?
So the existing garage is a 1-car, and it's not usable at this time because of Mr. Craig Schneider's retaining wall across the street. There's not enough of a turning radius to even enter the garage as it stands. So I was requesting to try to extend it by 2 feet on the northeast corner so that it would give me a little bit more of a turning radius to even access the garage door. I don't believe I needed a variance to extend it to the northeast, but I am asking that I'm able to grandfather in the current footprint of the garage and expand it by 2 feet to the northeast so that I can actually use the garage.
The word grandfather always makes me nervous. Are you telling me that you have got the information that you need variances for in front of us tonight, and the garage is not going to be part of it?
The garage is part of it, but and they are listed. There's several on here that pertains to the garage. the one that we removed, which was the corner clearance, we thought initially that I needed the corner clearance just from the triangular lines that are from the door to the road. But when I further reviewed the language, I thought, no, this is just for a corner lot. But there are still some variance requests in there for the garage, because it's non-conforming. And my lot is non-conforming even compared to today's non-conforming standards. So I do have some challenges there.
We just passed a motion to make that,
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
to put it in compliance.
Yes, to put it in compliance, correct.
Why is that property not occupied?
So I purchased, so my husband and I purchased the property last October. We were not exactly sure what we were going to do with the property. Since then, we have divorced. I live across the bay on Pine Tree, and so I retained this property in the divorce, and because I want to be close to my daughter across the bay, and because he and I have an excellent relationship, we're great friends, I agreed to go ahead and try to improve this property so I can stay nearby, so it will become my primary residence. In the meantime, it is sat vacant, as Larry knows. We've tried to keep it as, clean and the lawn mowed as much as we possibly can so that it's not unsightly for our neighbors. And then, of course, trying to put together all of the plans and design and, put together the variance language, that takes quite a bit of time as well.
Could it be occupied today?
There's no electricity in that house.
Yeah,
That's one phone call.
yeah, the gas is removed, the electricity, but the home itself is deteriorating. The deck itself is a safety hazard, so throughout the inspection, I discovered multiple things that are not right with the home. Just for instance, like the deck itself, the support beams are upside down. So even the deck itself isn't safe. A lot of the electrical items in the home are hazards as well. So there was really no way to save anything in the home. I feared it would just be a nightmare. If I peeled back layers of the onion, it could have gotten very intricate and expensive trying to save any of it. The foundation itself, there's some cracks in the foundation as well. It was built in 1940. And at one time, I was told 7 people lived in this home. I have no idea how they did it, but, so it's not very, a gentleman did live there for a long time by himself. But yeah, so my request is to improve it.
Thank you.
Question for Mr. Goodlow. Dave, those old houses back then, on a private residential, do they have to do an asbestos abatement on a private residence?
Depends on the situation, if typically, yes.
It's as old as that house is, you never know what you're gonna run into.
Yeah, typically, yes.
I know a lot of your old asphalt tile used to have, and your shingles and your siding,
Yeah.
looks like there's aluminum siding
It's
on there, I
really
don't know what's
not-
underneath it.
It's not more so much residential, it's commercial more, that the state
Yeah.
gets involved. Residential, it's not really something that you want to be aware of, obviously.
Yeah. If I might add, when I had the home inspected, that was one of the things that I had asked, and my inspector said that he did not have any findings of asbestos, because that's a concern, just going into the house and breathing it.
And mold too, I imagine, you check for mold.
Yeah, there was no mold, shockingly. I thought for sure there would be, there was no mold.
We should have to pull a demo permit if they have to, or is that all included with the building permit?
Yeah, the applicant has, an application in currently for a demo permit.
Okay, thank you.
Now, you did hear the conversation about water runoff,
I did,
that you may have to work with the building department to make some things happen.
correct.
Because this is all unknown, we can't put it in as part of a specific motion, but we can make it a condition that you agree to do that
Sure.
before we would move forward in a positive way. Is that something that you would agree to do?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I believe on page 2, the plot plan and soil erosion plan, I believe Houston Kennedy did put a water runoff plan in here on as well. On the northeast side of the home, he does show there's an extra dark line, and I believe that is the drain system that would be tied in, running underneath, and then running towards the water's edge. And then he did, I know I'm not in construction, but he did mention something about also doing a trench drain around the footings as well.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Flood?
Reviewing what's left on these variances, number 3, that is a 0.5-foot request, which is 6 inches. That's a 6-inch request from the 35 feet, so the house would be 34.5, which is 34 feet, 6 inches, from the rear property line, which is the roadside. Asking for a 6-inch variance. I mean, it sounds like a lot of variance, but when you go, in the details, in a lot of these too, you look at the side here, number 4 is currently where the house is right now. They're asking to bring in compliance for where it sits right now. And then number 5 is the house, same way on the other side of the. And 6 and 7 are for the variances for the setbacks for the garage that she was talking about replacing. And 8 is your lot coverage. I mean, if you break them down.
It can look like a serious bunch at the beginning,
Exactly, well, yeah.
somewhat less meaningful when you look at them all.
And we've ran into this, each case is decided on its own merit. But a lot of times we run into these type when they're a big development, we're talking,
Yeah.
huge
I have
development.
one comment on that, it's a great point.
Right, there might be 10 or 12.
Mr. Flood, but typically, when we have a 50-foot lot, we have a relaxed setback. Because it's not 50, it's 45, there's no relaxed setback here. So typically, you'd get a relaxed setback from a 50-foot lot, right? When you talk about 10 down to 7 or whatnot. So that's one thing to take in fact, because it's lower than that, it doesn't receive that relaxed setback that typically it would if it was 50-foot.
When you put it into that context, and you look at it individually and reason it out with the applicant and everything.
That's a good point.
That's all the questions I've got.
You've been quiet. Do you have anything?
Yeah, excuse me. Just wanted some clarification, ma'am, on the garage in terms of, again, I understand the retaining wall because I tried to back out and realized it's a lot closer than it looks.
Yeah.
So your plan is to add an additional 2 feet onto the garage and take 2 feet off the front of it? Is that the case?
No, I'm just attempting to add 2 feet to the side of it to allow for a larger garage door.
Got it.
So that it helps my turning radius a little bit. And I don't have a very large, I have a smaller SUV and I cannot make that turn as it
Right.
stands.
Yeah, I understand your pain.
Yeah.
And then I was just curious, where the parking area, this is more a curiosity question. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of hay there. Are you planting something there, or what was that about?
I believe that was the gas company. When they removed the gas, they had to dig some stuff up, and I think that was their attempt to put
Gotcha.
it back to its previous conditions.
Okay, gotcha. And then, based upon and I want to thank you for staking it. That was very nice of you.
I apologize it wasn't done sooner, but I was relying on,
Yeah, worked for me. It was there when I went.
okay.
But the two things I'm asking about are obviously down the one side of the house. You can't go down there right now it would be closer to your neighbor on the 308, so that's not going to change. But on the other side, that basically 3 feet there, what's the intentions for the trees that are there?
Okay, so I think you're speaking of the southwest side. So there is a beautiful mature maple down by the water that is going to stay. There is, my neighbor Larry has a large pine tree on his property, and I believe I'm gonna have to trim up the side of it that's on my property. Otherwise, it would be sitting on top of, close to on top of the roof. My goal is to leave as much foliage as possible. I do believe in the front, and I know you're not asking about this quadrant, but in the front by the well, I believe I'm going to have to remove that tree. It's going to obstruct the home.
And you You have another maple tree behind the garage in the front, too. So,
Oh, the smaller one? Yeah, if I can leave it, I would like to leave it. It just depends on construction-wise, because there are so many restrictions on the lot, trying to get the equipment around. If I can leave it, it would certainly stay.
and on the pine tree, is that something you've already spoken to that neighbor about? Trimming?
Well, we did kind of speak of it at one point, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and legally, you have the right to do it, but I wanted to make sure that, you know,
Sure. Yeah, we have a good relationship,
Good.
so I would hope that that would maintain, yeah.
I thought Mr. Walker would ask about the trees.
I did too. Good job, Tony.
I moved from
Cut into the tree.
Troy about 5.5 years ago, and full disclosure, that's one of the reasons why I came to Lake Orion. They're cutting down every tree in Troy. In fact, the people that we sold our former property, we had the most gorgeous, mature 4-inch caliper maples that we had trucked in for our new construction property. And that was one of the things that we asked the new owners, how are you gonna maintain this, and what are you gonna do with the foliage? And they told us, we're leaving all of it. They cut down every last one. Every last one. The home doesn't look anything like it did. So, yeah,
talk trees all night. But
yeah.
there was a beautiful century maple that someone cut down. Probably one of the most perfect century maples I've ever seen.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I know, but back in the day in the cities, they planted all those elms, then they had the Dutch elm disease that decimated. And now it's every time you turn around, there's a different disease attacking our trees. You know, it's
Yeah,
hard to keep up.
it is, yeah, yeah.
Well, Mr. Cook's doing, I want to thank our planning and zoning department. They're great people to work with,
They were amazing.
and they're super good.
Yes, and this is my second build, and they've been amazing both times.
They help us tremendously
Yeah,
when we have any case really, but when it gets to, the tougher ones, they're a great source of information.
And I want to make a statement to the gentleman that came, you, sir. A lot of times people come to do public comment. A lot of them are, let's just say, not interested in seeing the process move forward. But when we get people like yourself and we get some cases, I've many times been hung up about how I feel about a particular case because there's a lot of things we have to consider. We have to consider the rules, and I always try to consider the neighbors because they have to live there, I don't. And when somebody like yourself takes the time to come out and express support when nobody's gonna be closer to this project than you, that means a lot to me personally. It makes my job easier.
But you already removed those palm trees, didn't you? Doggone it.
I'll put them back, Mike, I'll put them back, I promise.
Try to have a little humor sometimes.
What was
Sometimes
that?
these can get pretty dry.
Oh, no, I appreciate that. This year of all years, I need a sense of humor, so thank you.
Are you your own GC on this?
I am. Yeah.
No, nothing lost in translation. Okay. Okay. In the matter of ZBA case AB 2025-35, Gary Snyder, address 296 Shady Oaks, Sidwell number 0910209009. I move the petitioner's request for originally 10 variances, which has been modified to 7. Variances from ordinance number 78, zoned R3, Article 27, Section 27.01, Section C1A. Number 1, a 5-foot, we've already addressed that. So that takes us to number 3, because number 2 was removed already. Takes us to number 2 reads as an 11.5-foot front yard setback variance from the required 30 feet for a house with a covered deck to be 18.5 feet from the front property line. Again, this was addressed in the fact that additional survey information was discovered, verified, and then read into the record, and so number 2 is not going to be a part of this. That takes us to number 3. A 0.5-foot rear yard setback variance from the required 35 feet for a house to be 34.5 feet from the rear property line, that being the roadside. Number 4, a 6.08-foot side yard setback variance from the required 10 feet for a house with a covered deck to be 3.92 feet from the side yard direction, from the side property line to the southwest. Number 5, an 8.83-foot side yard setback from the required 10 feet for a house with a covered deck to be 1.17 feet from the side property line northeast. Number 6, a 10-foot side yard setback from the required 10 feet for a detached garage to be 0 feet from the side property line, that's the southwest. Number 7, a 6.6 rear yard setback from the required 10 feet for a detached garage to be 3.4 feet from the rear property line, that's on the roadside. Number 8, a 17.6%. Well, I want to pause here for a moment. Because of the change in the land, is this correct?
Yeah, it's still correct.
This is correct now,
Yep,
okay,
still
all right.
correct.
Okay, a 17.6% lot coverage variance from the required 25% for a total coverage of 42.6%, Article 27, Section 27.03G. Number 9, again, which is not part of this, but we're going to read it. It's a 10-foot variance from the 10-foot corner clearance requirement for a detached garage to be within the corner clearance triangle area of the property to the southwest. Again, this has been discussed, and number 9 does not apply due to the location of it and discussion by the board itself. And then finally, number 10, a 6.5 wetland setback variance from the required 25 feet for a house with a covered deck to be 18.5 feet from the wetland. Again, this number 10 does not apply due to, again, the additional land and going out into the riparian or the created land into the lake itself. So again, just to repeat, this ordinance, this motion is in reference to number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. The plans be granted, date stamped, this motion is for plans, date stamped November 7th, because the petitioner did demonstrate the following standards for variances have been met, and they set forth facts which show that in this case, the petitioner does show the following practical difficulty. Number 1 is that the home was, and the home and the land were plotted in the 60s, and that it's been there prior to, we'll say, some of the more modern things that we've put into place now, which make it a little bit more spacious. And at the time these were platted, this was a vacation community, particularly on the lake itself. And so, again, this is the practical difficulty when it comes to the size of the piece of property that's out there right now. following are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applicable to properties involved that do not generally apply to other properties in the same area. Again, this is a lakefront property with the common things that come along with on the lake itself. The variance or variances are necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of the substantial property right by other property in the same vicinity or zone, or a smaller variance would be sufficient. There have been some letters that have mentioned things about sewage and about fire hazards. Again, the fire marshal has mentioned that he has no concerns with the property as it is being placed on the land. In addition to that, the building official has also mentioned that in the cases where the building is being built within 5 feet of a property line, then there are additional fire ratings requirements for those walls, and that it's going to be built to a modern standard, not well above something that would have been on par with the existing building. Secondary thing that has occurred is there was concerns mentioned about sewage. This is not a practical difficulty of the particular property itself. That might be an infrastructure thing that needs to be addressed at some point by our public DPW. In the case of the granting of the variance or modification will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or materially injurious to the property or to improvements in such zone or district in which the property is located based upon the following fact. We are going to require that the homeowner as well as the builder are willing to comply with any water runoff management systems such as a gutter system as it relates to water runoff from either rain and or snow. In addition, the home itself that is being proposed in this request for variance is on a similar envelope to what it exists at, with the current home, as well as when you compare it to the home next door to it, it would almost be identical in length and positioning on the lot. The height of the home does not exceed the 30-foot height, and then in addition to that, questions have been addressed about the trees that are on the land itself. The variance is not created primarily due to the topography of the land. In addition to that, the sheer size of the property itself, as again, this was platted originally as a vacation piece of property.
Support.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Cook, supported by Mr. Flood. Anything additional by the board? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mike Flood.
Yes.
Don Walker.
Yes.
Diane Danaskus, yes. Tony Cook.
Yes.
Dan Durham.
Yes. You're all set?
Thank you. I very much appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for coming out.
Yes, definitely. Have that conversation early with your daughter, though.
Yeah.
Next, we have public comment. Appears that we're going to run out of public communications. Any other than Mr. Flood, who's going to speak in a second? Anybody have anything? Now we have a committee report, 2025 P&Z, Planning and Zoning Team Professional Development Retreat Training. Trustee Flood.
Mr. Chairman.
You have the floor.
Thank you, sir. The reason I'm doing this is because according to our township policy, we have a training strategy. Section 6 reports out and tracking or training. And anytime now we go on our continuing education classes, we're supposed to come back and do a brief report so that the fellow members will know, and plus let the public know, that we do. You can teach an old dog new tricks. I'm finding that out. As you go to these conferences, it's kind of dry. A lot of us we already know, but you always learn something. But I want to compliment Orion Township, especially our planning and zoning director, Tammy Grilling, for putting this together. She does an excellent job. We were the only township. There were 220 people there, and there's MTA represents there's 1,240 townships in this state. And there were about 220 people attended. As far as I know, ours was the only one that had the complete planning commission in attendance. All 7 members were there, and that's to be congratulated. That's how well these people do try to do the job for our community. And we also had 4 of our 6 zoning board of appeals members. And we have a 5-person board, but we also have 2 alternates. So 3 of us were there.
Who were the 2 that didn't make it?
We won't mention any names, but we had one of our new alternates came, which is good, so they can get on up to speed. And you'll see in the packet there was like 10 courses, and I'm not going to read them all, they're on the record. But the main topic we found up there, and this is interesting, because townships vary in size. You can have 100 people in a township, or you can have 80,000. Sometimes it can be big as a city. The main topic up there I found interesting was on this, I'll read it off here to you. One about the renewable energy. Renewable energy ordinance that fits presenters. May not be aware of it, but the state of Michigan has already got an ordinance on it. That's where you put windmills, solar farms, battery storage. And if you don't already have an ordinance in place, even if you do have an ordinance in place, you cannot exceed the state standards. This township being proactive, we knew this ordinance was going in. We have what's called a CREO. I forgot what the acronym stands for. But anyway, it mirrors whatever the state's doing. So we have an ordinance on the book for that. So, but I just want to say, we try to be proactive, and I'll be giving the same report out to the Board of Trustees on our next board meeting, so. And I'm doing this for my fellow ZBA members, Mr. Walker, Mrs. Danaskis, and Alex. So you guys are covered now. That's my report.
Thank you. Member comments, anybody?
Like that.
We got anything? Motion to adjourn.
Oh, hold on, hold on.
Well, that's what you get for sitting behind me.
I'm trying to get a word in edgewise
Okay,
here. I'm
please do.
overwhelmed by this board tonight.
Please do.
The library. Holiday baskets, silent auction going on right now. 55 baskets, beautifully wrapped, terribly undervalued, sitting out there for you folks to bid on.
Are there hours every day that you can go look at them?
Sure. Or while the library is open, you can, which is mostly all the time, except at midnight,
How long does it go?
till the 22nd of November. All of the proceeds go directly, 100%, to the Orion Township Library. Thanks to the Friends' hard work.
Mr. Chairman, I've got some more announcements to make. Sorry to tell you guys
Here we
this,
are. Go
but
ahead.
beginning with tomorrow's Veterans Day, so we want to recognize our veterans. And we're holding a luncheon up at GLAC Recreation Center we have at noon.
Sprung the new name on people yet?
That's next on the list.
Okay.
That's next. But they're holding a luncheon up there for all veterans at noon. Public invited. On Wednesday, the 12th, the Township Board and the directors are taking a tour. We're going on a tour of Pine Tree Elementary School. And then we're going to do the ribbon cutting on the Heritage Park. That's the Baldwin Road new park there with all the heritage of the Gingiville. We're going to do a ribbon cutting there at 4:30. Then at 5:30, we're going to be back at GLAC. And they're going to announce the name of the new name. And also that day is what I've been told, that day is free. All amenities in there are open to the public free that whole day. Pool, equipment, everything, and they're going to have hors d'oeuvres and stuff. 5:30. And if you want to go on the ribbon cutting on Baldwin Road, park at the church, River Church there, park in the back lot, and know the buses will take you around the block and drop and pick you up and bring you back. Then last but not least, this really pertains to us, on December 11th, get the right time here, that's a Thursday, we're having our annual joint Board of Trustees, Planning Commission, and Zoning Board of Appeals meeting here at 5:30. And it's going to be in the Dragon Room. That's December 11th, the joint meeting. And that'll help take care of any training hours you need or anything.
I'll have to check and make sure I'm close enough.
So that's it. I move to adjourn.
I'll support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're done. Thanks.